And good morning and welcome to our Monday edition of Main Street TV. I'm John Pelletier, trying to fill in the big boots for Jennifer, who is taking some well-deserved time off. We've got some good things to go over on this Monday. And by the way, it's not just an ordinary Monday. I don't know if you know it or not, but Jordan, today is the first day of National Cowboy Poetry Day week. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I know. Cowboy poetry and other cowboy writings. I've got an example here. Do you mind if I share it with you?
Absolutely.
I know this may turn into a song.
Oh,
Okay? Listen
Gotcha.
carefully. There are three kinds of men. This is according to Will Rogers. There's three kinds of men. One that learns by reading, a few that learn by observation, and the rest of the guys have to pee on the electric fence for themselves. So that's some cowboy wisdom for all of us. We're going to talk about this special Monday. We're also going to be having some special guests. With me today, of course, is Jrdn Lombardo. And later on, we'll have Mark Carman. Carman the Car Man will be with us all on this Monday. So stick around. We'll be back right after this.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
And welcome back on this Monday edition of Main Street TV. And as I promised, we have a special guest, Jrdn Lombardo, who is going to be talking about a very special event this weekend at the Markay, right?
Yep, Markay, Saturday night. We got some, my jazz quartet's playing, but we're going to be a quintet that night.
Okay.
So we got an extra special guest there with us. So we're going to be playing some standards. We're going to be playing probably a couple originals, Latin tunes, some swing, couple funky tunes.
Some funky tunes?
All the good ones, yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Let's go back. How did this precipitate? What made you want to put this together?
So I've played, I didn't get to really play jazz in college. There wasn't a whole lot of like actual jazz musicians there. So I always tried to play jazz whenever I could. And there's no one in Jackson that plays, really.
Yeah.
I mean, besides us, really. So I've been playing with Ryan and Keith. So Ryan Hurd, saxophone, and Keith Wilson on drums. We've kind of played together for a couple years now. Yeah. And I was playing bass originally, and then we got Jason Hogue to play bass after he came back, and so I started playing guitar, and that's kind of, the four of us were like, hey, we should play some, play some jazz tunes and, do weddings and little cocktail hours and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we've been together for about a year now.
What defines jazz for you? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, it's complex. I'd say the biggest defining factor is improvisation. Mm-hmm. It kind of has to have improvisation. And then from there, you have instrumentation plays a big role. So when you hear upright bass, saxophone, trumpet, that kind of thing, kind of turns into jazz very quickly when you have those instruments improvising together.
Yeah.
And then,
And I think you hit it on the spot. Improvisation is
that's kind of the big
huge.
one. Yeah.
It's huge in jazz. So this is going to be happening Saturday, right?
Yep.
At the Markay.
Correct.
And they can still get their tickets, I assume.
Yes. Tickets are $12 pre-sale, $15 at the door, I believe.
Okay.
So if you buy them now, they're $12.
$12.
Yep.
And all of this is going to be happening at the Markay Cultural Arts Center, the Markay Theater, as we like to call it. And it's a great venue.
It is.
Really
It's
is.
a nice venue. Yeah, I love playing there.
So let me talk a little bit on my own about Jrdn Lombardo. Because I can remember when I first saw you play, and I was very impressed. And of course, being around Bart for years and years and years, I'm not easy to impress. But you were playing at University of Rio Grande
Okay.
at a concert there with a group of people. So,
Sounds right.
and also I saw you at playing at the commencement at University of Rio Grande. So
Did a bunch of those.
yeah, so you've been doing this for quite a while.
Yeah. I was a music major at Rio Grande, and I had a scholarship, so there was a certain level of indentured servitude I had to go through. So
Yeah.
I had to, I played in the rock ensemble, the jazz ensemble, both choirs, the band.
Right.
So I was in all the groups. So I'm sure you saw me somewhere there. And I was there for 5 long years, so I was doing it a lot in there.
Okay, but let's define 5 long years.
Well,
I mean,
it all felt like the same year because I had the way that music programs are kind of set up, at least they were there. You have kind of your music courses kind of early in the morning, then you have 1 or 2 other, chemistry, biology, whatever. And then you have some ensembles.
right.
And it was like that. And since I was in all of the ensembles, my schedule was basically the same for 5 years. So it's all a huge blur to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as a musician, I know for many musicians, if not all of them, have what I call a comfort zone. In other words, you play all different kinds of music, but there are types of music that you really feel at home with, you feel comfortable with. What's yours?
Probably rock, which is a huge genre and means a lot of different music, but that's kind of what I grew up on. So I'd say I'm most comfortable with rock, bass or guitar, playing rock music. I feel like I understand it the most just because it's kind of, as I was going through transformative changes as a teenager, that's what I absorbed, I guess,
Right.
the most. The rest kind of came later. I didn't start playing jazz till I was probably 18. So I kind of, a little less comfortable. And you have to practice more on it. So it's
And that was my next question. Which one type of music causes you to really stretch?
probably jazz the most. It's and I think it's really true for not just for me as a person, but just as a genre. It requires the most, I feel like, the most upkeep on your technique and scales and all of that.
Right.
Yeah. Rock's a little more straightforward. Same with like country and all that stuff. Jazz, there's a lot, like I said, improvisation. So, you have to know scales, you have to know modes, you have to know the language, you have to listen a lot, transcribe. So
Very good.
it's a little more work.
So once again, if you like jazz, or if you want to find out more about jazz, or you would just like to have a night of really great music, we invite them to the Markay Saturday, right?
Yep, correct.
So there'll be Saturday. It all starts,
7 p.m., I believe.
I think they open the doors a half hour early. Of course, the gallery will be open before that, so you can stop by and take a look what's in the gallery as well. And those tickets are now available at the box office for $12 for tickets in advance. And they'll be $14 at the door. And it's going to be a great evening. We invite you to get your tickets ASAP, right?
Correct.
I appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah.
All right. Jrdn Lombardo, probably one of the premier musicians in our region. And I think it's going to be a great night. We'll see you there, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. We're going to be back, and soon we'll be talking with Carman the Car Man. So stay with us here on Main Street TV.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Today we are expecting highs of 38 and lows of 30 with sunny and partly cloudy. For Tuesday over here, we are going to have a 10% chance of snow, so make sure to bundle up just in case, but do not fret, with highs of 39 and lows of 27. And for Wednesday, we are having highs of 40 and lows of 27. Mostly cloudy, but partly sunny, and we are expecting southwest winds from 5 to 15 miles per hour.
It falls up, but I better get up there and keep my mouth shut.
Welcome back to Main Street TV, and you saw me pull in Carman the Car Man,
Where the deals are great.
where the deals are great.
Cold today.
All right.
Hey, I feel like I'm invisible.
I know you wore green. They should have probably told you don't wear green.
Well, I did not know that. I look like a ghost on TV. I think I'm a ghost. So you know what I'm going to have today? When I go back to work, I'm going to have ghost deals today.
Okay, you better.
I'm going to have a ghost deal today.
And of course, when it comes to deals, this man is truly transparent in everything.
Yeah, I can think of something every time to make up a car deal.
Hey, before we start talking about those things, Mark, I have a little bit of fun to go with. Did you watch the games yesterday?
Yes, and I made a little wager on one of them, and of course I went with the loser. So that didn't fan out very well, but I did hit a little machine. It gave me a little money, so I thought, well, I'll put a little, it's always fun to put a little wager on the game.
I know.
And I took Washington. I really like kind of Washington, and of course I was pulling for Buffalo, and I was hoping for 2 yesterday.
Well, and of course that means we'll have the same old.
So we got Kansas City in there again. Then those guys are just amazing how they can pull stuff out.
Sure.
I mean, they really are. Did you watch them?
Yes, I did.
Both of them pretty good games. Buffalo had their opportunities yesterday. I thought when they went fourth and one a couple times, I thought, man, you guys need a pass. Got to pass. I mean, I understand you got to run a little bit, but
I know.
I'm open-minded. I'm thinking fake them out like they're going to run and throw the ball.
So we now know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. We can run out and buy the appropriate apparel.
Well, Kansas City is favored, I think, by 1.5.
Okay.
So that's amazing how Vegas gets that stuff going.
I have no clue how they do that.
I don't either. It's all computerized. They had, of course, there was a 6-point spread on the Washington deal, and they missed that by a whole bunch. Mm-hmm. They got smeared. Actually, Philadelphia's a hell of a team, I tell you. Of course, Washington is too, but Washington really just could not get it going. Philadelphia just played so good. And Kansas City, they're amazing how they can pull miracles out.
It's an amazing ball team.
They
really
are.
Is.
They are. You talk about a team you could be down with a minute, and if they got the ball,
I know
you're probably beat. You're
probably done, right? Okay.
Yes. But,
well, let's talk a little bit about this Monday. I thought I might share some information with you if you don't care. Okay. Did you know that today is National Bubble Wrap Day?
But I could wrap up.
You got
easy.
any? We can celebrate. I didn't bring any, but I tried to do that.
I brought some. I had some in the kitchen there before I left.
It's also Punch the Clock Day today, which we probably already have done.
I don't even look at clocks, do you?
Well, yeah. This morning I had to punch out my alarm clock.
Yeah, punch it.
I'm not used to getting up this early.
That's a good idea.
And of course, today is the day that we celebrate for the renowned plumber inventor Thomas Crapper.
Really?
Yeah.
That is today?
Thomas Crapper Day. He's the one who...
what would we do without him?
I know. He came with a flushing commode. And of course, without Thomas Crapper, you and I would be this winter
Outside.
out the outside in -3 degrees weather.
They still have those.
Yeah,
when I go to the
okay.
auctions, they still
Anyway,
have those little outhouses out there at the auction. They are not pleasant.
That's so true. So I do have a automobile question for you.
Fire away.
An automobile dealer question for
Okay.
you. After the 15 inches of snow, which cars do you dig out first? The four-wheel drives?
Four-wheel drive. Well, that is a really good question. After
Where do you start, at the door?
Well, it's like a donut. You start in the middle, you clean out all the middle, and then after you get the middle all cleaned out, then you back out all the other cars.
Yeah.
And then you take the tractor and push all the snow forward.
Okay, gotcha.
So we got it down to a science.
All right.
But the first day we got that. I looked outside and my wife said, "You're going to go to work today?" I texted the night before and we're going to get all this snow. I said, "No, I don't touch snow." Actually, when we don't start cleaning off snow now until we know it's actually done.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than going outside and it's cold and you knock all the snow out and it's still coming. So, my feeling is if somebody wants to buy a car, a truck, or an SUV, we'll go out and get it. But
We'll
until the
retreat
meantime,
before
we're going to let the snow get its job done. Then we're going to detail and get them out. But it's a big undertaking. I tell you what, it's we carry about 60 vehicles in stock, but you take the bigger dealers that carry way over 100, 150 to 300 cars. What's amazing me is the auctions, the car auctions. Of course, it was snowing all day Monday. I didn't go Tuesday to the sale, so I presume they had the auction up in Columbus, but they run about 1,200 cars through the auction. Now, how they did that, I have no idea.
Okay.
But it's a big undertaking. I tell you, you gotta have two things. You gotta have gloves, something to push snow off the cars, a really nice heavy coat, and somebody to push snow, and a battery charger.
Okay, a battery charger.
You don't have the old battery box to jump cars. You're kind of dead meat.
And a great big old pot of coffee, right?
Yes, exactly. But, in the weather, you just never know. The other day, it was really cold there, when we were into the teens, and we had somebody come in on a Monday, I think it was a Monday or Tuesday, when it was really, really cold, and came in and bought a 15-passenger van. Now, who would you ever think on a cold 0 day that you'd be buying a passenger van instead of an all-wheel drive or a truck or something?
I know when it's very cold and the car doesn't start, of course, now you're stuck with 2 tons of worthlessness.
I tell you, the big thing a lot of people got to understand, when you get in your car, it's so cold like that, just don't get in and start them up and let them run and let the oil circulate and get everything warmed up.
Right.
And we actually had a car or a vehicle that a person brought in for the service department blew a main seal out of the car because they didn't let the car warm up.
Okay.
And so you're better off when you get in the car, give the car a few minutes, let it warm up, get the temperature up, then start driving, because it's weird things happen when it's this cold. So you're better off let it warm it up.
That's true. And I can remember in my years of broadcasting, okay,
Yeah, when you had to get up and there's zero.
I would get up at 3:30 in the morning, and of course in this kind of weather, what I would do actually, literally, is I would go out the night before,
Yeah.
warm up my car,
Yeah.
then shut it down, go to bed. When you come out in the morning, really, it's easier to start.
Yeah, I think it is. And I tell you something else a lot of people are doing now. They're taking their wipers and they're pulling their wipers out.
Right.
So that way their wipers aren't stuck to the windshield frozen, which is really a good idea.
Right.
And but then there's other things you can do. You can stick cardboard on the windshield, you know, to help keep it from freezing over. But the old-fashioned way is, like you said, go out and start it out, let it warmed up, make sure it's ready to go, and pull your wipers off, and make sure you got something to scrape it. And start it and let it warm up a few minutes before you hop in and go. Of course,
go.
I've been one. You've probably been one of those guys that got in the car, started up, and you got frost, and kind of driving, looking through the windows, and
Been there, done that.
that's not smart thinking to do, but I've done that a few times.
Pete Wilson and I were talking about the blizzard in the 70s.
Oh yeah.
And of course, I was still the sign-on dude in the 70s. And it took me 45 minutes to get my car 45 feet
Oh, yeah.
to Pennsylvania Avenue so that I could get to work. On the way to work, I was pulled over by the sheriff. That's his job. What are you doing out here? And he found out what I was doing. I'm actually going in to turn the radio station, get him going, to get the message out.
Right.
So he led the way.
Right.
And I got there. And then later on, back then we had a old Jeep Ram,
Yeah.
4-wheel drive, Dodge. I mean, not a Jeep, a Dodge. And I took that 4-wheel drive and went out and got all the essential personnel and brought them back in. That was a crazy time in the 70s.
You know, it's funny. Back in the 70s, there was not a lot of SUVs.
Right.
Or four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive trucks were really just starting to get popular.
Right.
And actually, Jeeps were one of the main first vehicles that came out with all-wheel drive vehicles.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize that. The Jeep Grand Cherokee, and then they just, for some reason, just shot out. Now cars are kind of like a thing of the past. You know, Chevrolet is the only Chevrolet car now is a Corvette.
Right.
There's no other cars. And the same with Ford. I think the Mustang's the only thing on the car. So.
Yeah, they've done away with sedans.
Yeah, they really have. It's
Everybody
crazy.
wants an SUV, so that's what they're making, SUVs.
And they make the SUV with front-wheel drive, and which will do good in the snow. You know, as long as you got decent tires on cars, you're not going to be a four-wheel driver, but you're going to get. How many years have we haven't had this kind of snow for forever?
It seems like about every 2 decades, about every 20 years, we get dumped on.
nailed.
So you save up your money for a four-wheel drive, and about 20 years from now, you're going to need it. So
Yeah, that's about the truth. That's about the truth. The good thing about snow, you get that one good day off of work. Nobody can go to work, so you go home and watch the reruns during the day and think.
watch your Andy Griffith
Yeah, catch up
reruns.
on Andy Griffith, find out what's going on all the good TV shows on MeTV.
You know, let's talk a little bit about automobiles before we get into specifics about what you have on your lot. Is the automobile industry, as we've sort of indicated, is really changing
Big time.
big time. I have noticed that there is probably as many pickup trucks on the road now, and it wasn't always this way, if you remember.
No, it wasn't.
Pickup trucks, and people are buying pickup trucks even if they really don't need
They
the
just like-
capacity of a pickup truck.
They just like trucks.
Yeah.
It's it's been happening. It's been kind of weeding for a while. I mean, four-wheel drive trucks really started getting popular, and they made Dodge came out with the quad cab. I think they're always the one I always kind of remember started the crew cabs. Now everybody wants crew cabs, quad cabs, SUVs. Now there's still a few people. I like cars myself personally. They're easier on gas and easier on maintenance than what trucks or SUVs are. But they're really, really popular. I mean, they really have taken over the world. There's only a few Toyotas still making some cars out there. The Corolla, which is really popular, and the Camry and the Hondas are still out there, and Hyundai is still making them. But GM and Ford are kind of out of that clique anymore. So, and it's really, really popular. Everybody wants the big trucks.
A big truck.
Big truck. They want that crew cab, big truck, 4 wheels of driving. And you try to park that, and you think, now, where am I going to park this thing? I'm driving a Dodge truck right now, a 09. I'm driving an older one. I'm not driving a newer one, but still trying to find a good parking place for the thing is tough. and nothing gets these people like, they're getting these big trucks, and you got to find a parking place. And you know how people park. They don't park straight in the car.
Right.
They park sideways.
So and pickup trucks are becoming popular. We mentioned that there are no longer manufacturing sedans like they do. And so when you see people come onto your lot, you have sedans, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We keep everything. We get cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Keep a little of everything. I mean, it's because you never know what everybody wants. I think kids still like, cars because they're easier to drive, and some adults Thank you very much. How do you know I know how to dry throat? But yeah, cars are still popular. I mean, we still sell a bunch of cars, but SUVs, we carry. I think we got about 15 cars in stock. We got about 20 SUVs, and I think we're carrying about 20 to 25 pickup trucks.
Okay.
And the good thing in my business, I can find about anything pretty quick. But vans are still popular. You know, we still sell a lot of Chrysler Town and Countries, Honda Odysseys, and Toyota vans, and the big 15-passenger vans. We sell those too. We had the last one we sold. We had a family had 10 kids.
Okay.
Said he had to have a.
I guess.
He said he had to have a big van. I said,
bet.
well, we can hook you up right there. He likes Chevrolet over the Ford, so you know, I don't favor one over the other. I think they're all good.
Yeah. Convertibles.
Convertibles. Yeah, there's still a few out there. Actually, we do sell a few convertibles. I actually just sold one here about 2 months ago. But I try to buy those now because when spring hits, you can't touch them. The prices go up.
Right.
So this is the perfect time to buy a convertible.
Okay.
But they're kind of fading out to a certain. You don't see very many of them. Actually, now like the Broncos and have a convertible top. I don't know if you've seen the Broncos out there have
Right.
convertibles. So they do still have them in SUVs too.
And of course, I'm noticing what is popular now, and of course, I'm going to show my age, is that they buy a Jeep,
Yeah.
they take the roof off, they take the doors off,
Jeep Wranglers. Yep. Real popular.
they take everything off.
They're still popular.
I
It's
know.
amazing. We got, it's funny when the Jeep craze really hit the Wrangler craze, there was hardly any Wranglers around. You know,
Right.
back when they first came out, everybody wanted them, and everybody wanted the $5,000 to $10,000 Wranglers. Now they're up there to $30,000 to $40,000 and $50,000 if you want a new one.
Right.
And they make 4 doors. They make the 4 doors with the soft tops and the hard tops, and they're still really, really popular.
I know, and I think it's people enjoy the cruise.
Oh yeah.
Enjoy the ride, and I see them go by and sort of have a little envy. I think that's really would be fun. Take
Yeah.
the family. The only thing that I have pause about is that on some of the Jeeps they put a little pedal outside the car that you can actually take your foot and rest it outside the car.
Oh yeah.
Why in the world?
Yeah, I see a lot of people do that.
That doesn't make any sense. I mean,
People are nuts. They don't
all my
understand.
life I got smacked around trying to keep mom and dad want me to keep my hands and my feet and everything inside the car.
Yes.
And so now we put a pedal out there so they all can all stick their feet out. So
Well, that's where you step up to get into the Jeeps now. Everything is high.
I know.
You
And
ever
I know
notice
what
that?
it's for, but it's not what's being
It's not the
used.
safety factor.
It's not
I always wonder why, if you've seen a policeman or if you saw an individual had their foot out the door, that they could get pulled over for that.
I
don't know
would
if that's
think. I mean, I don't think they'll
don't-
get a ticket, but I think they should be
warned about.
warned about it. I could be wrong.
Well, there's a lot of people still riding around with no seat belts and stuff like that. But you imagine riding around in a Jeep with the top off, no seat belt on, and but a lot of them like to ride out in the country now.
Yeah.
That's what they. What I really don't understand is that people buy these nice fancy Jeeps and take them out and go mud running. Now you got to be a different individual on that to take a $30,000 or $40,000.
Either that or own a car wash, one of the
Yeah,
other.
but now really popular. What do they call those little things they run around out now? They're really popular. They're $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. They're like that's awful. I'm having a mind freeze, a
That's
brain
okay.
freeze.
That's all right.
They're my age. That happens, doesn't it, John? But they got these little I don't know what they call those little off wheelers. They ride out in the woods and stuff like that. And they're $40,000 and $50,000 too.
Yeah. Well,
Toys are expensive anymore, John.
yes, an expensive toy. Let's talk a little bit let's get down to business as Mark, Carman, the Car Man, where the deals are great. Let's talk about those great deals.
Right now we have really a tremendous amount of cars. I've been out on a little buying binge, getting ready for the spring market. As you know, here And about actually today is the first day that you can file for your taxes, if I remember right. If I heard that on the news today. So, people are going to be filing for their income taxes. Back in the old days, income taxes, you really didn't start to get those till April or May. Now you're getting about mid-February.
Yeah.
And so the tax craze goes about mid-February to mid-March. And that's basically, it's over with. That's just kind of crazy because everything's electronic now. But anyway, we're been busy buying a lot of cars. We've been trying to buy a lot of $10,000 cars under 10 grand, 15,000 and under. We got some higher end stuff, some trucks and stuff like that. But we got a little bit of everything: cars, trucks, SUVs. We got big trucks, little trucks. I just bought a 2010 F-150 with 25,000 miles on it.
Whoa.
And I saw that. I thought, well, it went through the auction. New car dealers don't keep older vehicles. Everybody thinks they keep all that stuff. They don't. They keep newer stuff. And so everybody's at the auction looking at this truck and thinking, what's wrong with this? Well, in today's new business compared to what it was when I got in 50 years ago, I run my phone on my cell phone. It gives a Carfax on it, gives me the price, gives me everything I need to know on it. It's a one-owner truck. It is 25,000 miles on it. And I ended up getting it bought, but that's going to be a nice truck for somebody. It's a extended cab, four-wheel drive. We got to put a windshield in it and get it detailed and serviced, but that truck's going to be right around $15,000, which that's not a bad price compared to what trucks cost today. Your new trucks are what, $40 to $50 to $60 to $100,000. So it's mind-boggling what the new trucks cost out there.
And speaking of trucks, I remember, and you can remember, Ford and Chevrolet, they came out with the smaller pickup trucks.
Yeah.
And that sort of faded away, and now they're coming back.
Yeah, the Rangers. Speak of the Rangers, I do have a Ranger in stock, a 2019 Ford Ranger Lariat, leather, the whole 10 yards. Beautiful truck. Actually, it's got the softest truck seats in it I've ever sat in a Ford pickup truck. And the Chevy Colorado is real popular. I got 3 or 4 Colorados, 1 Ranger. I got a couple of Toyota pickups. This is kind of unusual. I got a Toyota 2-wheel drive with 44,000 miles, automatic air, power steering, power brakes, and that's in that $15,000 range trucks in a 2-wheel drive. Somebody likes a Toyota. People love Toyota trucks.
Right.
And I got a crew cab Toyota truck I just bought. We're getting it serviced and ready to go. So we got like say 10, or we got 15 to 20 trucks in stock, 4-wheel drives. I got some 2-wheel drives. I got a 2-wheel drive Ford F-150, extended cab, automatic and air. I can't tell you all the prices and the years because too much. But the good thing about our car lot, you can get on. The internet is usually up to date, but unfortunately it hasn't been up to date for the last few weeks because of the weather. Right. But a lot of times you can get up on www.carmanjuicecars.com and check out all our cars. The cool thing about our internet site is if you see a truck or car, and if you're interested, you can actually fill out a credit application on there, and we can send it into the bank when you have it ready to go for you. When you come in and drive the truck or the car, SUV, if you like it, we can get you hooked up right now.
Here's the keys.
Yeah, there's the keys and ready to go. We actually sold a car not too long ago to some people. Did that same thing. They filled out the app, came in after work, drove it, came in the next day, and drove off with it. I bet they weren't there 30 minutes. Fastest car deal I've ever seen.
All right.
Unbelievable. Technology.
Let's shift gears a little bit because I don't know if you're prepared to talk about this or not, but I know you're heavily involved in the community, especially Kiwanis.
Yeah.
What's happening in Kiwanis now?
Well, right now we're just getting ready for the starting of the year. We got the golf tournament will be coming up. We got a lot of other stuff. Our projects are just starting to take off. So we got Teresa. That's awful. I'm having a mind.
You're good.
We got Teresa as our new president this year, and she is going to do a fantastic job. So we're just getting ready to go. The golf tournament is not until July. We just got done with our spaghetti dinner. We're getting ready to have we didn't have our Christmas dinner this year because of the weather.
Right.
So they're having that tomorrow night.
Okay.
So a lot of things getting going, John. They just don't know the schedule of everything and all that good stuff. But Teresa Perry is our new president.
Good.
And she's going to do a fantastic job. And but a lot of good things coming. I just can't tell you exactly everything right now.
And of course, probably to help people that aren't familiar with the group, the Kiwanis, what goes on there? What happens?
We raise all our money basically for all our kids in the community. We, believe it or not, we're hard to believe we're going to be graduates will be coming up here in May, so we'll be giving scholarships for Wellston, Jackson, Oak Hill. So that's one of the big things we got going on that. So we do have scholarships coming up. So a lot of the money that we raise stays locally. That's the cool thing about it. A lot of things where you raise money for, a lot of it goes, 90% of it goes out of town, 10%. Basically, everything stays here in town.
Okay.
So that's the cool thing. But and we raise money for the money also we have is like clothes for some of the kids in some of their smaller grades that maybe they fall and get wet at school or something like that, or maybe have an accident. And they got some underwear and stuff like that and some clothes for the kids at school, so that way they don't have to go home or the parents don't have to come back. So that's what we do, a little bit of everything. We got reading around the world, or actually Dolly Parton's got a thing that's taken over that part of which we're involved in that for kids reading, which is very important. Reading is the whole thing about young children. If you can get young kids to read, it's so tremendous to see them help out and
it really opens them up.
Oh, it really does. I didn't, and unfortunately, I wish I would have done that when I was younger. I've probably been a lot smarter. Excuse me. But I noticed from my grandkids, they love to read. I never seen my oldest grandson. He'd get a book and he'd read that thing like bang, 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 and he is one of the smartest kids I've ever seen. And all my other young grandchildren are the same thing. So read. Okay. It's amazing how much the mind can accept when you're younger. When we get older, we get a little tougher.
And it's a lot of people were fearing, of course, with with computers and everything on your phone and all that and all the videos and TikTok and all that young people would get away from reading. But I don't think that's true.
No. The one thing I like about the computers for the young kids, I think it's really helpful for them too, because they learn how to type. Think about it. They're at their age, they get up to school, they can do their fingers and type right off the bat. It's amazing. But I think they really do a lot. They do learn a lot on the computers. Right. And let's face it, that's what we're in a world of, computers today. Okay. But these kids are so much faster than when I was their age. I didn't know anything about that stuff. And, of course, we didn't have it back then, like the internet and whatever. But I think there's a lot more plus. Some kids like to get in the gaming and everything, which is all cool, I think. But the computers, I think you can still learn a lot if you pay attention to what your kids are doing.
And I think all of us, all generations, find ourselves leaning on the internet.
Oh, big time.
To answer questions. I know I do. Somebody asks me a question I don't know. Here we go. And
Siri.
Some scientists say that's what's hurting our memory.
Yeah.
Is because we do that. But anyway, it has its pluses.
I think it really does. If you look at our phones now, when I went to buy cars back in the old days, I had a book. That's all I had was a book. And you couldn't check the car out like the Carfaxes or anything like that. So today, with these the cell phones, I can scan the VIN number. It can give me the price of what the car's worth. The Carfax, it can give me all the information. And everything. And if you're in business, there's a lot of things like that with that. In your business, you can use your computer for. Okay. So I think it's a lot more good there is bad.
One more time, Mark, let's give them a highlight of how they can get in touch if they need some wheels.
Well, we're located at 68 Standpipe Road, just right outside of Jackson, Ohio. And we're open from 9 till 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday from 9 till 3. We do have service department. We do service what we sell. Good thing about when we get a car in, we change the oil, the brakes, the tires, all that stuff. It's all needed. So it has a good checkup before we have it, put it on the lot. We deal with all the local banks here in town. Benton County Bank, Atomic Credit Union, People's Bank. So we deal with all the local banks here in town, which is all good. If you got bad credit, no credit, we do have places that we can help you out with. But you have to have one thing: money.
Money.
You got to have money down. You can't come in and say, my credit's bad and I need to buy a car. And if you don't have any money, I can't help you.
Yeah, okay.
But we got a great assortment of cars. We Carfax everything out there. So you want to know the history on the car. That's a good thing about it. We know where all the cars were, if they got a ding on it, where they've had an accident. And and we take trades. We'd love to have your trades. And if you need for us to stay open later, we're in on that too.
Okay.
We're 9 to 6, but we can stay open later if we need to.
Okay. Mark, appreciate it.
John, it's always a pleasure.
I know.
You're not as pretty as Jennifer, but you're always an enjoyable person.
Boy,
we go way back.
I'm getting uglier by the day, by the way.
Don't worry about it. Hey, I don't know about your house, but I've taken all my mirrors out. No mirrors in my house.
My mirrors don't work, thank goodness.
Yeah. I blacken them up. I don't.
All right.
John, good seeing you.
Mark.
I'll get Pete over here and
right.
get all the update on the news in Jackson. How
Mark,
the weather is.
Carman the Car Man, where the deals are great. Hey, stick around. We are going to take a look at the news with our news director, Pete Wilson.
Thanks
in just
for
a
having
second. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks.
Saturday, August 16th is Southern Rock Woodstock in the Gallipolis Fairgrounds. This event will feature 3 decades of original artists and legends, such as Leonard Skinner, 38 Special, and Molly Hatchet. In light of this event, Total Media will be giving away 4 VIP tickets. For a chance to win these exclusive passes, comment your favorite Southern rock song, and our staff will vote on which one is the best. Good luck, and may the best man rock out.
And we're back on this Monday edition of Main Street TV. I'm John Pelletier, sitting in for Jennifer, doing the best, I should say, to fill the shoes of Jennifer, which is not easy. And I got my old buddy, news director Pete Wilson, the hardest working man on the planet. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well. I feel blessed.
Well, good.
I feel blessed to to be able to do what I do, and for those folks to let me do it.
That's
That
true.
count.
I always thought the same thing.
Right.
And I think there was more let me do it than there was me doing it, but
Whatever.
when it comes to
we just
broadcasting.
keep on going. But anyway, it's good. It's good to have you back here.
Well, thank you.
You're in the Lou Davis studio, but just down the hall we have for you folks out there in radio and TV land and newspaper land, we have the John Pelletier studio. That's an enduring tribute, sir.
And one of the reasons why they were able to sustain the John Pelletier studio is that I've been very successful in hiding all of the stories of my broadcasting career.
Oh, okay.
So, oh my goodness. Hey, by the way, in case you're light on news today, I brought my own news.
Okay, well, good. Let's hear it.
I'm not going to lean on this, but I thought I didn't want to put a lot of pressure on you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay.
I appreciate no pressure situations.
So, did you want to hear my news?
Well, let's hear it.
Are you sure?
Sure.
I don't want to step on your toes.
You wouldn't be. You wouldn't be. I always deferred to John Pelletier.
Okay. We're going to give the Dopey Burglar Award out today, if you don't mind.
All right.
This burglar went into a house,
Okay.
robbed the house, left.
Okay.
And when the police came, they found his footprint, but it was a distinctive footprint. Because in the process of breaking into the house, he stepped in a big pile of dog poo, all right?
Oh, my.
So everywhere this guy went, he left his distinctive and smelly track.
Oh, yes.
So they were able to follow the tracks down the sidewalk all the way down to the apartment where he lived and arrest him. He's 20 years old and probably won't be able to see the light of day until he's 30. So
Okay.
Here's another guy that was, he attempted to steal $1,000 worth of merchandise. He had his cart full in Walmart.
Okay.
And the problem was, is he tried to pull this off during Shop with a Cop Day,
Oh my!
and there were
Great timing.
50 police officers there when he tried to roll his cart out the door.
He probably deserved that.
Yeah, he deserved that. And one other one, this Colorado man attempted to rob a bank. He walks in, he hands the note to the teller. The teller looks at the note, and she can't read it. It's not legible.
Oh my!
So she says, "I'm sorry, sir, I can't read it." And gets all flustered. Then finally says out loud that he's going to rob the bank. And of course, here comes the security, and he's arrested. So that happened in Loveland, by the way. So.
Okay, well, I would tell you, if I ever robbed the bank and I was in that situation, it would happen to me because nobody can read my writing
you
either.
Type it first.
I've learned to type. I've learned to type. It's been my savior.
Anyway, I just thought I would pass that along to you.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm not sure I have anything as good as that, but I do have some local news to pass along.
Go.
This is going to be kind of like an important meeting tonight that the public is welcome to here in Jackson. And it involves, the future of Jackson's Memorial Building.
Okay.
Located at 145 Broadway Street. And that, of course, is, the historic home of Jackson City Administration. Some city offices are no longer there anymore because of the condition of the building. They basically just use the main floor, the first floor, or the basement floor, and the top floor are pretty much unused now. The middle floor has got the mayor, service director, and some other central administration people. But it's been an issue, and there is the memorial building in case, you're not sure what it looks like right there on Broadway Street. But the future of the memorial building, they're trying to decide what to do. They would like to preserve the building. They don't want to tear it down, but they would like to fix it up so, it's modernized and it works right and repairs are done and all like that. These days, that's a lot of money. I believe that the last figure I heard from our mayor, Randy Evans, it's about a $5 million job, which seems wow. I mean, for a rehabilitation project, not a rebuild, a rehabilitation project. Tonight at 6:30 p.m., and this is a half hour before the regular Jackson City Council meeting, the BDT architects folks, I believe they're from Athens, are going to give the results of what they're calling a feasibility study. They are basically going to say, hey, this is what's wrong with the memorial building, this is what has to be done, and most importantly, this is what you're going to have to do. There'll kind of be some price tags on there on what it will do what it'll take to fix everything. Now, the good news is that the city has already received two big bunches of funding to help towards this. It's not enough, but it's a lot. They received an Appalachian Community Grant, all that grant that Mike DeWine, the governor
Right.
Mike DeWine announced earlier in the year.
Yes.
Right, and they also received some capital money from Jason Stevens, who is the state representative and the former Speaker of the House. Still does not add up to as much as is needed, and so the city is going to find out exactly how much is needed to do a rehab of the building. They're going to, when they find out what the feasibility study says, this is mainly going to be informative, but there may be some little give and take there if the public's there. But the city administration, city council have to decide what to do in the future. They know they can't leave the building indefinitely the way it is, because there's some basic problems with the exterior, the interior, the heating, all like that. Of course, they have the big auditorium, gymnasium that doesn't get used much anymore, but still gets used some. Just have to decide what to keep, what to fix, what to redo. It is, at one point, they talked about taking down the memorial building and building a new building in that spot or maybe somewhere else. And they got some pushback from the public on that, in any community where you have a building with a little heritage. So that will be very important tonight, what they decide on that. Before that meeting, John, this is a little less exciting, but still very important. At 5:45 p.m., there's going to be a meeting, another informational meeting. It's going, the Crossroads Company is the name of the company. They have been working for nearly a year, something like that, on a new zoning code for the city of Jackson. Jackson's last zoning code goes back to 1983, and things change, on what rules should be on buildings and like that. And so behind the scenes, the city officials have been working with Crossroads, which are consultants and zoning experts, on a new zoning code. Some of the things that they have come up with are going to be released tonight, and that's at 5:45 p.m. The public can also come there. That's going to affect, a lot of businesses and homes and like that, what the rules are on zoning, what you can do and not do, and so forth. So that's at 5:45. Jackson City Council will meet for their regular meeting at 7 p.m. Also tonight on the city government front, we want to remind folks, we said this last week, but for those folks who takes an interest in public affairs, want to go to meetings or want to know what's happening, Wellston City Council is having a meeting tonight. It really is a regular meeting, but it was postponed from last Thursday because there was a lack of a quorum. They knew that you had to have 4 members to be able to do business. Well, they'll have them tonight, so that meeting will take place. Of course, we'll be staffing the meetings both in Jackson and Wellston, and we'll be reporting on that later on the radio and the newspaper, and maybe here on Main Street TV as well. Okay, State Highway Patrol, very important in Jackson and Benton counties, right? Well, we got a new man in charge.
Oh, really?
Out there at the Jackson Post, which serves Jackson and Benton counties. His name is Sergeant Thomas Cassidy, and actually, he's no longer Sergeant Thomas Cassidy. He is Lieutenant Thomas Cassidy because he was promoted, and with that promotion, he is the commander now of the patrol post out there just outside Jackson on Chillicothe Pike. There is Mr. Cassidy, a picture of him. Very young man, but very accomplished so far with what he has been able to do. Understand that I did not know this, but Jimmy thinks he knows Thomas Cassidy or knows of him. We think he might be from Waverly. I don't know that firsthand, but I know he has worked all around the area in the patrol in his young career.
He'll be on the show on the 18th.
He'll be on the show. Well, he'll tell us for sure where he's from. You'll know when you meet him. But he began his patrol career in 2012. That's when he got out of the academy. He's been at the Athens Post. He's been at the Chillicothe Post. He has been the District Trooper of the Year. He did that in 2014, which is just 2 years into his career. And he has also been a sergeant at the Jackson, Portsmouth, and Chillicothe Post. So he has been very well traveled, and now he's here in Jackson. People get confused on this. The local post serves Jackson and Benton counties. All the troopers go out, they cover the wrecks and do traffic enforcement in Jackson and Benton counties. But in that same building is district headquarters, which serves multiple counties, I think 8 in southeastern Ohio. They're in the same building. And Mr. Cassidy, Lieutenant Cassidy, is the commander of the Jackson Post. All right, very cold last week, John. Very cold. And I'll tell you what.
Where'd you get that news?
Here is a good side to the story, though.
Okay.
There were some warming centers that opened up in Jackson County and Benton County. And we received a follow-up report from the one in Benton County. This was especially impressive because it was basically an ad hoc group of volunteers. It wasn't any big organization or a church or a city government that did this. This was just a group of citizens who came together. And from last Sunday all the way through 9 a.m. Saturday, they operated a warming center at the MacArthur Fireman's Hall. And listen to these statistics, John. They were able to serve, there was 40 volunteers. These are people giving up their time to man the center, operate it, and help people who were in there. More than 30 individuals made donations, and that was individuals, also churches and community organizations. This warming center was open 24 hours a day, which means that you could not only come in during the day or in the evening, you could stay there. They got donations of bedding, blankets, pillows, sleeping bags, all like that, and there were anywhere from 3 to 9 persons who stayed overnight during that period. Not the same number every night, but there were some people who needed a place to stay. You can imagine when it's sub-zero what's happened if you have inadequate heating or the furnace goes out on you. And doesn't it always do that at the worst possible time? But this warming center, it was very impressive. And, we talked about the weather and the cold temperatures. That was in the news. But kind of like on a second level is how people responded to that to help others. And they were able, when they started this up in Vinton County, they had, like I say, it was no organization. They didn't have a budget. They counted on people to step forward to be volunteers. They counted on people to donate food, shelf-stable food, snacks, as well as hot food. And they counted on people to even stay all night with these people that were going to need. They had no idea whether they were going to get one person or 40 persons. But there was people there every day. They figured that they served a total of 350 meals. They even delivered some meals. Okay. So the reason that I'm talking about that now is sometimes, in the worst of times, people show their best sides.
That's true.
And these are all volunteers, John. And I know with you being involved in the church and some community service folks and community service agencies, your entire professional life, I know you can appreciate people stepping up and doing that. But also today,
I knew better than to say anything. I knew.
All right.
I could see in your eyes.
We could go down the list of what you do, but still do. Retired from here, but still doing all kinds of things. They're going to do siren testing in Vinton County. Very important in case there's some disaster. They do this once a month, and it's going to be today at noon. And in some of the communities, there are sirens, and they're going to test them to make sure they work. And, they are used to signal a disaster, such as a tornado warning or something like that, to get the word out. And it's going to be at noon today. And in advance, they do want you to know that the sirens in Dundas and Wilkesville are not working correctly or well. They're, in fact, out of operation. So if you don't hear the sirens in Dundas and Wilkesville, there's a reason for it. Right now, they're down. But everywhere else in the communities, you should hear the sirens. All right, what else do we want to tell you about? Last weekend at the Cantor's Cave 4-H camp, they kind of turned the clock back. I don't remember whether you remember this. I bet you do from, your radio days and, doing our TV show, the Indoor Trade Fair.
Right.
Right. That's where they come from all over, not just Jackson and Vinton counties, but from all over, out of state even, and they come in period dress, pre-1890, all the way back to frontier days. They dress up and they sell goods and items that are consistent with that historical period. Mm-hmm. And that is Norman Geringer right there. He is from Chillicothe, and he kind of took the place of Larry Zorns here in Jackson County that was kind of in charge for years. It is the Sons of Liberty Muzzle Loading Club that does that. And Norman Geringer, you can see him there in his tri-cornered hat, selling his items right there. And he was just one of, 30-some dealers that came. They had a pretty good attendance, from what I understand. According to the information that I received, 240 visitors there on Saturday, another 50 on Sunday. Probably the numbers were down on Sunday because, remember, we had more snow on Sunday, and I think people were worried about coming out. That is Barbara West. She is all dressed up in a period dress. It looks very nice there. Barbara lives here in Jackson, and she was one of the local dealers. But once again, most of the dealers actually came from out of state. If you go to that trade fair, John, I don't know whether you ever got a chance to do it, but if you go to that, what they call the indoor trade fair, it is like walking into living history. You will see things there that you will not see at Walmart or any other store. Books, clothing, weaponry, muskets, cooking utensils, cooking items, all sorts of things. And this is an event that takes place about the third weekend in January every year. And this year, except, a little bit of snow at the tail end, they actually had good weather. Mm-hmm. You usually know that the biggest snow of the year is coming when they have this indoor trade fair. So they were really lucky. But the Sons of Liberty Muzzleloading Club will have 2 more events. They'll have outdoor encampments in the spring and the fall. There will be primitive camping, vendors, and Highland-style competition games. One other thing I want to tell you about, this is just a little bit of a teaser. Speaking of the Cantor's Cave 4-H camp, they had their 75th anniversary of the Cantor's Cave 4-H camp. They called it a celebration dinner. Did you know that camp, that 4-H camp, goes back all the way to 1949?
It's hard to believe, but it does.
It goes back 75 years, and they had a full house there. It was a great night. They did two things, and we're going to maybe show you some pictures and show you some advanced coverage maybe tomorrow or on Wednesday. But they not only celebrated the fact that the camp has been there 75 years and served hundreds, maybe thousands of 4-H kids, the 10 counties during that period, and it's mainly volunteer people that do it, not just the 4-H professionals. But not only did they celebrate the past, but they have kicked off a fundraising campaign to fix, repair, and upgrade some of the facilities out there at the camp. Guess what? They're trying to raise $75,000 because it's 75 years, and they've already got a good head start with some major donations. Plus, they raised an estimated $10,000 just in one night over there at the celebration dinner. Okay. So very positive night, and along with the bad news, we like to report the good, and that was some very good news. So there you are, John. I only gave you part of my stack, but I will be back tomorrow, and we'll give you some new stuff.
Okay. And I'll refrain from any news so you can get through your entire stack.
I like the guy that stepped in doo-doo. That was good. That was good. He like we say, he deserved everything he got.
I know, he does. I know. He was easy to track.
Very easy.
You could use all your senses to find him. Do we have any other due diligence we need to do before we get out of here? Okay, wonderful. I think tomorrow we have the Apple City Players, and also we'll have my representatives from My Brother's Place and the Wilson Food Pantry will be here to talk. And, of course, Pete will be back. And I promise not to bother you, Pete, so you can get all the way through the news.
I want to hear how much time the doo-doo guy got.
Okay, we'll try to find that out for you.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow on Main Street TV. Take care.